Back at Ambrose Urbanic Field, getting ready for kick between Pitt and Denver. We told you to watch Bryce Willoughby on the right. They are so happy to have Keegan Kelly back up top.
Well, Keegan Kelly back for that international duty where he started all 3 games for New Zealand at the Under-20 World Cup. He brings a veteran presence as only a sophomore.
For Pitt, they were outshot 14-1 by Stanford, and they lost their starting D-mid Tomas Bedere to a red card. So who's up next, Patty?
Well, Logan Oliver will make his second start of his college career. Look for him to have a really important piece here in sitting deep in midfield, breaking up the Denver attack through the midfield spots.
There's Jay Vidovich and Jamie Franks, both part of Wake Forest National Championship squad back in 2007. Now their teams play each other every year. And Pitt has gotten the best of them almost every time. They'll need to do it again tonight to keep their NCAA tournament hopes in good stead as we're off and running from Ambrose Urbanic Field. Denver on the road yet again. They may play the toughest road schedule in the country in all red. And Pitt trying to turn the corner. 3 of their last 4 games at home could have this thing going in an entirely different direction by the time we actually reach the postseason. Along with Patty Foss, national champion at Virginia, I'm Jonathan Yardley. Jackson Gilman on the ball for Pitt. He's out on the left today. We've seen him there in the past, but Nicholas Sorensen has played left back, Gilman center back much of this year. They flipped those roles tonight. And even though Denver comes in off of 4 straight strong performances, they're above 500 on the year. It won't surprise either of us to see Pitt have more of the ball, Patty.
Well, I think that's right, and it's because they're going to try to do different things in the build. You've already seen it a little bit early on here. Denver wants to press Pitt high with that initial press, see if you can create turnovers. But if they aren't able to win the ball, the Denver team will be very happy just to sit in, make it very tough to play in behind.
Lasadal on it for Pitt with Casper Svenby. Nominally the right back, number 21 in white, but you will see him way up this right-hand side. You may even see him swing over to the central part of the field. He is licensed to roam.
Well, both of these teams will line up to start at least very similar formations, whether you want to call it a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. But both actually build with 3 in the back, 4 in midfield. They like to insert Svenby on that right-hand side, does Pitt, and Dylan Akau on the left-hand side for Denver. So as we get into this game, it's important to watch the matchup on your near side here, because that's going to dictate a lot of what this game and how it's going to be played and where it's going to be played. If Akau can get forward for Denver, it'll be a good night. And on the flip side for Pitt, if Svenby's forward, it'll be quality in the attacking third.
Fifth all-time meeting. Pitt's won 3 of the 4. They did tie here back in 2022. Last year, they were both ranked number 1 in the country. Denver hadn't lost yet when these teams squared off, and Pitt beat them 2-0. This year, they come in with a combined 12 losses, very different place. Denver thinks it has already righted the ship. Jay Vidovich and Pitt are trying to find that win, that goal, that moment that can turn the page on their season to a new chapter. There's Jay Vidovich, ACC Coach of the Year, both at Wake Forest and here at Pitt. Little gap year in the pro ranks in between. And this program in such a different place than when he took over. And now the standards are such that losing 5 away games at some really difficult opponents is a frustration point. Collision there against Dahl, and it's a free kick in a dangerous spot for Pitt early on.
Well, now we've seen it a few times here for Pitt. Very direct. If they're going to build, and then they're happy to skip lines here. Just a little bit of a misplay there from Trevor Wright. It's a little bit clumsy in the collision with Lasadal, and this is a very quality spot for a set piece here coming for Pitt.
Isaac Nami, the very experienced Denver goalkeeper, their all-time leader in wins and shutouts, setting up the wall. Just had their first clean sheet over the weekend against Delaware since the first game of the season. Usually Denver is known for its defense. Grayson Carter restarts it for Ferreira. Finally, Denver able to clear. Pitt hasn't scored since the 12th minute of the NC State game, which was their last game in this building. Losses at Duke and at Stanford, which on the face of it, Patty, no big deal. People lose at Duke and at Stanford all the time. But 4-0 at Duke and being outshot 14-1 at Stanford kind of raised some eyebrows.
Well, it did indeed, and the concerning thing for Jay Vidovich hasn't been the effort, it hasn't been even the quality through the build, it's been the quality in the final third. They've had chances, they've gotten into the final third, they just haven't had that final act and that final quality in and around the box to put the ball in the back of the net. And these results are starting to add up to where they need a breakthrough, and certainly it's been a good first 5 minutes here tonight.
Again, Pitt 2 games under 500 with 3 regular season games remaining. You are guaranteed at least one in the ACC tournament. So the games are there, several of them at home. For the Panthers to gain ground and make themselves eligible for the NCAA tournament, you have to be at least 500. But it's going to take some doing. And Syracuse comes in this weekend, has won 4 in a row. This is Ferreira, 28 in white. Back to Lasadal, number 7. This is the center back, Sorensen, 35 yards from goal, and Denver will just sit there organized and deal with it. It's a Denver team that is pumped up. They got their first road win of the season at Georgetown a week ago. Scored with less than 15 seconds remaining from a free kick to win that one. Flew back to Denver, beat Delaware, flew back east. They'll fly back to Denver tomorrow and then come back to the East Coast to play at Virginia on Sunday. It's a crazy schedule.
Well, it was interesting when we talked to Jamie Franks this week and how he puts that schedule together. He's all about the collegiate experience for his players. He wants to visit these places. He wants to go into tough environments, and he wants to showcase what has been one of the best programs in college soccer over the last 10 years. Denver, it seems like year in and year out now, is in the conversation not only for the College Cup, but at some point to break through with the national title game. You're only going to do that through being battle tested through the regular season. For Jamie Franks, that means going on the road and playing in tough environments like the one they're at tonight.
National champion at Wake Forest. He's been a head coach since he was 28 at Denver. And both these teams eliminated by the national champion Vermont last year. Denver in penalty kicks in the College Cup semifinal. Vermont still unbeaten, by the way, the defending national champions, although they've had more ties than they would like. This is Will King, the right back for Denver. Started the year as a central defender, redshirt freshman, but Grant Lund, number 4, was so clearly ready to get on the field. Jamie Franks told us that we had to shuffle the pack a little bit, and King has been flexible to play wide on the right for them. Foul whistled on the pressure by Luke Schultz. How has Denver done it, Patty? Because we see teams that are not in the ACC, not in the Big Ten, make themselves prominent, but everyone kind of has a different path to get there. What's Denver's niche been?
intensity and just unrivaled intensity. And I mean that in a few different ways. First of all, Jamie Franks is about as intense a coach as you're going to find anywhere on the sideline. I had the pleasure of standing behind him during that College Cup game against Vermont, and he just has a passion not only for the game but for life that permeates through his entire squad. They're also, as you see here, very organized. They know exactly who they are, they know their identity, and they know how they can win games. They have a belief in what they do. They can frustrate opponents, and they pick and choose their times to go forward, and when they do, they go forward at pace and with some lethality in the attacking third. So there's not a lot of programs in college soccer with a better culture than this Denver, and that's really where it all starts.
The difference between this team and other Denver teams we heard from both coaches is this one is a little bit more direct in terms of how quickly they will move the ball forward rather than focusing on the build through the midfield. They've been mostly defending here. Dahl in the penalty area trying to cut it back, and the deflection falls right to Isaac Nami in the Denver goal. Dahl, such a live wire as a substitute last year, has not been able to make the same impact this year so far for Pitt. Again, not available every game. 2 goals and an assist, though, for him. Long ball hauled in by Schultz for Denver. Willoughby running ahead of him and decided to keep the ball and switch the point. Aiden Semmelsberger, 25 there. One of their veterans in the midfield. Jamie Smith, this is a defensive midfielder, not necessarily a center back by starting position to Patty's earlier point, but he will drop back and possess in the build. And it's a free kick for the Pios, as they're called, the Pioneers. They had gone to 3 at the back and felt like they hit rock bottom when they lost 3-0 at Seattle. Jamie Franks said it was way too individualistic. Guys were not being confident in who they are and what they bring to the table. And he feels like the performances since beating Kansas City, beating Georgetown, beating Delaware, and out-shooting UMass despite losing have been much more what Denver is capable of.
Well, I think adding that player on the back line to make it a back 4, and who they added in Dylan Akal, a guy who's making his 79th career appearance, top 10 all-time for the Denver program. He has that veteran presence that, yeah, he's an attacking guy and he's going to get forward, and a lot of times in the attacking side it's going to look like 3 at the back, but he provides a little bit of stability on that back line, something that they were missing in the performances like the one you mentioned at Seattle, at Portland, both of which where they leaked 3 goals.
13th minute, no premium scoring chances to speak of yet. Pitt in white is under 500 and needs every win and every goal they can find to try and scrape their way back to the NCAA tournament. Denver sitting in a much better position, but would love to up their resume and their hosting chances with another road win here. And you can hear the reaction from the Denver bench. That's the Denver bench cheering on the far side of the field for their forward, Keegan Kelly, chasing down a defender to play the ball out for a throw-in. That's the intensity Patty's talking about.
Well, exactly, and that's culture. I mean, that's your center forward, 110 yards from your own goal, and the bench, the entire bench is up off their feet. They're cheering just because he's putting the effort in, and he's maintaining a standard that has become the expectation at Denver.
You love Jamie Franks' whiteboard, Patty.
Not as much as he loves his whiteboard, but the guy is always taking notes. He's never missing a beat. There's nothing that gets past him. And yeah, I do love his whiteboard.
He's got the any opponent, anywhere motto, to paraphrase it. I'll give you the real one.
Well, that's his motto, to beat anybody in any condition, in any circumstance, on any given day. And when you talk about this Denver team and the schedule that they've put, particularly going on the road, they're living it. And they play in tough environments, and they've started to find results, and that's going to make them so tough to play against, whether they're at home or on the road in the NCAA tournament.
Nami did really well to read that through ball and cut off Lasadal. And here you see them against the RPI top 15. It's a very difficult schedule. They'll get another challenging test at Virginia on Sunday. I mean, just listen to the road games. At Stanford, at Creighton, at Portland, at Seattle, at UMass, at Georgetown, at Pitt, at Virginia, at Omaha, and at St. Thomas to finish in Summit League play. That's crazy to take that on in one season, and they do it every year.
Year in and year out, and they usually find some results. They haven't found as many as they surely would have liked this year, but you got to feel like going to Shaw Field, playing against a top 15 Georgetown opponent, and finding a goal in the dying seconds of that game could really be a springboard into certainly this game, but then again, a top 5 matchup against Virginia at the weekend.
This is Keegan Kelly, back from international duty. New Zealand played at the host country, Chile, in front of 45,000 in the tournament opener. Must have been some atmosphere. He'll do the honors with the long throw. Kelly trying to join the crew in the box now. He's one of your bigger targets. That's deflected around and runs out. Goal kick is the decision. Jack Moxham, the Pitt goalkeeper, his first year as the out-and-out starter. But he did start 5 times last year. This is Bryce Willoughby after forcing the turnover. Cross took a deflection, headed. And we'll see what the call is. Denver was asking for a handball out wide, and that is what Nick Balser has given.
Well, we told you off the top of the show that you were going to see this from Bryce Willoughby, and that pace getting down the right-hand side. Yep, it's a little bit of a high left hand there from Jackson Gilman. Perhaps actually a little bit fortunate not to be going to the book for this one, because that's a good ball into the box from Willoughby, looking for 2 red shirts.
I was going to ask you exactly that. It struck me as yellow card right away. They don't need any more of those. Luke Schultz set to deliver this. Assisted the first goal against Georgetown from a corner. Scored the second on a free kick that went directly in. Great stop by Moxham to get down to his left on a sharp header from Kelly.
Well, this is a dangerous ball into the box initially, and Keegan Kelly does really well in his run towards that front post to knot it on frame. It's directly at Moxham, but this is the kind of instances and stretches of play where you can start to see where Denver are going to manufacture goals. It may not be the most attractive play through the run of play, but they're going to get their chances, and certainly Kelly in the box is a very dangerous center forward.
First shot for either team in the 18th minute. Not exactly what you're hoping for in some of these sometimes freewheeling midweek games, but there's so much on the line for these teams. There's not going to be a lot of freewheeling. Couple of line-splitting passes. 14 is Villamajana for Pitt. This is Svenby. We told you he'll pop up all over the field. Out wide for the freshman Grayson Carter. Came all the way down, laid off. As Svenby lost his footing, but did keep possession. Dahl. Denver still moving it. Dahl isolated against Dylan Acow. Now the help comes. Dahl keeps it moving. Santiago Ferreira, great footwork, but the shot was blocked by the experienced Trevor Wright. Shots at either end now as these teams start to open up just a hair.
Well, and if Denver's going to sit this deep, that's a great spot for Lasadal and getting really wide and stretching the Pioneers' back line. It's going to be very tough to play through midfield in the 2 blocks of 4. As you see here, a good one-on-one instance here for Lasadal. A really tremendous amount of composure there. Pick his head up with the left foot and find the on-rushing Santi Ferreira. Ultimately, it's a block in the end, but these are the kind of instances and passages of play that are going to give Jay Vidovich a little bit of a positive feel as we build through this first half. You got to stretch Denver wide, get at them in wide areas, and get chances into the box.
Ferreira now a junior for Pitt, 28 in the middle. Dad, a former MLS MVP for FC Dallas. Santiago was born in Colombia, but raised in the Dallas area, cheering on his older brother, Jesus. His 2 favorite soccer memories, Jesus' first MLS goal, and when his dad got to play against Ronaldinho. Starting to add to those with his own games for FC Dallas, for North Texas, and now for Pitt. Diagonal ball, and again, Nami was in good position, even if the offside flag had not gone up. But it will be a free kick for Denver at the back. Jay Vidovich said, I really can't think of a year where so much has gone against us in one way or another, where it's been so hard for the group to overcome, again, kind of doubts and confidence more than anything else. The performances have not been overwhelmingly bad, but the results have not been there. 1 win in their last 7.
Well, beyond just the results, this is a team in Pittsburgh now that's just looking for one play, really, that could spark their season. And if they can, you feel like if they can get that goal, perhaps they can get a win. They have something to build on. They can play with the best in the country. They just haven't gotten the goal, haven't gotten the result, and haven't had the quality in the attacking third to get results.
Willoughby for Denver ran himself into the corner, but did find help. Trevor Wright, number 3, keeps it moving to Akau. All picked up in the middle by Logan Oliver for Pitt. Trying to go quickly. Kasper Svenby. Carter working against King. Didn't get much on the cross, and it'll be a goal kick. Did that ring a chord for you, Patty? Jay Vidovich saying we just need one play to turn the season around. Have you seen instances where that's happened?
Yeah, I think it does happen. It happens frequently in the ACC. There's always this team in which they're sitting near the bottom of the pack, and come October, they start to rattle off results, and that's a really dangerous team. Pitt sort of does have that feel. You know, you look at the losses that they've taken on your screen right now, and the worst of which is a very quality Notre Dame team that's 33rd in the RPI. So it's not like they've taken bad losses. They just haven't had the wins, and they're going to have opportunities not only tonight, but Syracuse and Wake Forest both coming to Ambrose Urbanic, and then finish on the road at a very good Louisville team. If they can rattle off 4 in a row, they're squarely back in tournament contention, and this team is capable. They have the talent to do so. They just got to start scoring some goals.
Grant Lund lost his footing and got the ball out. Corner kick is the decision because the near side AR saw the ball cross the goal line before Lund played it. He and Torsten share a laugh about it.
Now it's important to watch on this corner kick. This is one place Pitt actually has been dangerous this year. Love to swing this ball inside the 6-yard box, and in particular, Arnaud Velmajana has been lethal with his head off these set pieces.
Number 14 right near the penalty spot. Foul whistled, chasing the second ball. Denver will have a free kick coming out. Yeah, I mean, Wake Forest last year was kind of one of those turnaround stories I can think of where Wake Forest, I don't think, had the lead more than 45 minutes in the first half of the season. And then they went on a streak where they lost one game in 16, won the ACC tournament, and reached the NCAA quarterfinals. And they're another one where you did not expect to see Wake Forest and Pitt in the bottom 5 of the ACC standings, but that's where we are.
Well, that's really just shows the depth and breadth of quality in the ACC. I mean, we talk about it every year, but every year it proves the point, and this is just a really deep, tough conference, and that's why the man on the left, and Jamie Franks, is coming to the East Coast so many times, because he wants to play against teams in the ACC, and that's, ask Jay Vidovich, he might want to play some teams in the Summit League, but that's where you're going to get battle tested in come tournament time.
To be fair, Patty, they did play Kansas City. Ooh, close call at the edge of the penalty area there as Nami waited for the ball to get to him. Pitt did play Kansas City from the Summit League in the NCAAs last year. Needed overtime to beat him.
We'll get a look back at here. I think Nami might be a little bit, that one might be outside the box, Jonathan.
Any part of the ball in the box, I think he's good. That was close. Denver starting to see a little more possession in the attacking half. Jamie Frank said it always takes us 15 or 20 minutes to get used to this turf here. And we'll see if they grow into the game a little bit more. Scoring goals has not really been the problem for Denver. It's giving them up, which has been very uncharacteristic of the program. Already given up as many goals this year as they did all of last year. But again, they feel they've turned the corner from that. The last 4 games, much more classic Denver efforts. Chance in the penalty area here. Dylan Akow scuffed it wide left, not the hit he wanted to put on that.
Well, not the hit indeed, and that's the quality in the attacking third that Jamie Franks is looking for and doesn't get there, but it's a really good bit of composure here in the box from Luke Schultz just to roll this one to the oncoming senior Dylan Akow, and he's got to do better from 12 yards out there. You got to put one on frame and test Jack Moxham.
Akow, one of many players from the Timbers Academy up in Portland that has made it down to Denver. They also draw heavily from the Colorado Rapids Academy, from Real, Colorado, youth club in the area. And you mentioned Akow, just contributor every year he's been there, now in his 3rd year as a starter. A little bit of a loose touch there. Jake Smith and Denver able to get away with it. And there's the direct ball. 29th minute, no score. Pitt needing a win to get closer to the 500 mark. Denver trying to continue its very difficult road swing. On the move here with Bryce Willoughby. Game winner over the weekend against Delaware. That return pass never made it to him, and the play was offside anyway. Pitt free kick coming. And a frustrated shake of the head from Kyle McGowan.
Well, McGowan does really well to put an overload here on the left side. You see, it's just one moment too late there from Bryce Willoughby. It's got to be one step closer to slot that ball in behind and find McGowan's left foot. But Denver's done better in the past 10 minutes. They've started to build into this game, and you can see getting players in wide areas, some overloads on that, especially here on that near side. That's how they're going to be dangerous. That's how they're going to create chances through the run of play.
You can see the three at the back there for Pitt because the right back Svenby is way up on the near sideline. Advantage play, the foul was against Pitt. Aiden Semmelsberger on the move for Denver, looking for the run up the middle of Schultz and couldn't connect. Keegan Kelly, who was involved in the center circle in the challenge. He was the only player from college soccer at the Under-20 World Cup this year. The U.S. team by now made up entirely of professionals. Reached the quarterfinals yet again before losing to Morocco. New Zealand did beat Egypt, but went out in the group play, in the group stage rather, losing to Chile and Japan. See the footwork from Ferreira. Leads to this opportunity. All Albert Torsen could do up top was get ahead to it. Torsen seemed to be the goal scorer they were looking for. 5 goals 2 years ago, 7 goals last year. But they've run dry at the moment. Just 1 goal, that came against Mercyhurst in their last win. Jay Vidovich said if anyone has been a paradigm of how to handle adversity, the attitude and the work rate of Torsen up top has been second to none. And he said you wouldn't know from our training sessions as a group that this team has 1 win in 7, which is surprising to me, honestly, Patty, because you know how frustrating it can get, and it's great to hear. As you hear Zahir Dyke come on for Pitt.
Well, that center forward spot really has been a question mark all year for Pitt. Sure, Torsen's done better here in the last few games and brings a certain level of physicality and energy, but you know, for the long portions, especially early on, we thought Marco Silva potentially would be the answer. The transfer from Marshall, who was a big part of that finalist team for the Thundering Herd last year, and they just haven't found the consistency in a goal scorer. And when you don't have the guy in college soccer these days, it becomes really tough to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yep. We'll talk about a couple of those guys in the ACC when we look around the league at halftime. Donovan Phillip from NC State, of course, leads the league with 14 goals, but conference play starts to tell a bit of a different story. Some new names have emerged. Pitt needs to find one. This is Villamajana. He's their goal scorer, but with his head most of the time. Neat chip there, and Trevor Wright at an angle running toward his own goal was able to clear. Now Gavin Wetzel, the right center back, 24 on the ball. Sorensen tried to break lines, but picked off by Semmelsberger for Denver. They can't hold it, though. Couple of changes for Denver. Holger Olsen is number 10, and Eric Collins is number 20. So Olsen will replace Willoughby in an attacking role. And Collins will go out wide. Oh, actually, I take that back. He's central for the moment, replacing Schultz. Gilman got away from trouble to keep it there. Pressure on the ball there from McGowan, and well-timed play from Sorensen to keep that for Pitt. Cow got to that and blasted toward midfield. At the risk of asking a question that we could ask in numerous times throughout the season, Patty, when a team is this organized and behind the ball, how do you break them down? Because it looks like quite a feat.
Well, you have to get the ball really wide, and it's sort of interesting here, so that's a bad giveaway in midfield.
Turns over for Kelly, he's outnumbered. I beg your pardon, that's Olsen. He was waiting for Kelly, and Pitt had enough numbers around the ball to break it up. Stays with the Pios, sent over the top. So how do you break a team down, Patty?
Exactly. Well, it's interesting because as deep as Denver is, the only places you're going to find pockets of space really are going to be very wide. And we've sort of seen that since the substitutes have come on for Pitt. And Zahir Dyke now on the left side, very wide. They've moved Lossadal to the right, who's also very, very wide, playing almost without a traditional number 6. We talked a little bit about in the open about Logan Oliver being inserted for Thomas Bateray, who has been the guy deep in midfield. Now it's almost like Pitt doesn't have a player deep in midfield. They've elected just to sort of skip that phase of the game and instead push numbers very wide and very high, trying to get some of those pacey wingers in and around the box.
Jackson Gilman taking aim, and it's too far from anybody in white. So there's Dahl, there's Dyke. You'll see them stretch the field for Pitt. Collins, 20 in red, trying to battle through that tackle. It's won by Sorensen for Pitt. That means 20, Grayson Carter is going to have a more central role for Pitt in this shape.
And you're seeing Vilmajana just a little bit deeper now, trying to get on the ball.
Final 7 minutes of the first half here. No score and not many scoring chances, clear-cut ones at least to speak of. Jack Moxham the only save for Pitt back in the 18th minute from a Keegan Kelly header. Pitt outshot 33-9 in the last 2 games. Has been on the ball most of this one. Trying to turn it into offense as that cross was cleared away. But the Panthers still on the attack. Two of the 3 at the back for Pitt right now. Gilman on the left and Wetzel on the right from the Philadelphia Union Academy. That's one of their kind of established pipelines. I think Denver was okay with Sorensen being the player to try that pass, and now Denver a chance to break lines. Jackson Gilman goes backward to Moxham for the clearance. Anything surprised you from this first half, Patty?
No, not really. To be honest, I think this is sort of how we expected this game to go, in that Pitt would have the lion's share of possession, and then Denver would be very organized and pick and choose their times to go forward. The one thing I would say, though, Jonathan, is for as much possession as that's going to be a card.
Yeah, Jake Smith wanted to make sure that restart was not taken quickly and picks up the yellow.
Just a professional foul, though. You don't usually see those on the throw in, but nonetheless, it's not the worst idea here from Jake Smith, not allowing Pitt to get out in a little bit of transition. It's the right
I call
leg
that
there.
a semi-professional. I don't recommend it.
But the one thing I was going to say, Jonathan, is that for as much possession as Pitt has had, and they've had a ton of it, you have to be very, very cognizant of where those attackers are for Denver, because we've seen it a few times throughout the year. Denver has success in getting direct, and on the flip side, Pitt has given up some goals that have been Route 1 football straight in behind. And so that will be one thing that Jay Vidovich is going to want to touch at halftime, and do not lose your concentration. Be patient with the ball, but be very organized when it turns over.
Almost another sloppy turnover there. Instead, Pitt gets it forward to Villamajana. Svenby early delivery, dealt with calmly and comfortably by Wright at the back. For all the touches in the attacking half Pitt has had, how many have been central within 30 yards, right? Not a lot. It's all been out wide.
Well, and you look at how many red shirts are behind the ball. I mean, there's not a lot of space to play in that final third. They just had it in the final half.
Yeah, no, and it's exactly what you'd expect. There's some space, and Ferreira skies his effort.
Well, it's not a bad idea here from Santi Ferreira, and when you're going to have so much of the ball and not too many chances, you're going to get a little bit antsy, and so that certainly an effort from 30 yards out is a little bit of a tough one, but you don't really mind it from Ferreira in testing his luck.
Denver trying to bring it out to this near side with Dylan Acau. .43rd minute, nearing halftime. Denver and Pitt so far slugging this out scoreless. Shots are just 2-2. This is Will King, the right back. Inside for Collins. Trevor Wright turned that over and gets caught forward for the moment, but Pitt can't do anything with it, and Denver wisely just smacks it out of play to get everybody back in the right spot. There's Wright, veteran of so many games. He and Isaac Nami passed Nat Borchers today to move into third place all time in starts at Denver. Wright's a 6th year, so he's one of the last guys who played through the pandemic season.
1 minute remaining in the half. 1 minute.
Again, we told you at halftime we'll look around the ACC, get you ready for this weekend's games. Update you on some of the scores that come in from the non-conference games tonight. And try to check in with the coaches ahead of the second half as well. That'll be a free kick for Pitt near the halfway line. About 30 seconds to play in this first half. On the knockdown, Lasadal can't get there. And it looks like everybody's going to be pretty content to take that to the locker room.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Scoreless through 45 minutes. Pitt still trying to find that goal, that play that could potentially first half. And you see the numbers, the possession number, it jumps out, and yet it's not surprising, Patty, having watched it, 68% for Pitt, but just the 2 shots.
Well, it's not always that the numbers tell the story of the game, but I think these do, actually. There wasn't a ton in terms of quality chances on frame, and yet Pitt had the lion's share of possession and looked very comfortable in knocking the ball around and making Denver chase for the large portion of that first 45.
Zach Shalosky, the assistant, Jay Vidovich, the head coach, walking back for Pitt, both part of that Wake Forest program that is so essential to the storylines in this one, because Jamie Franks, the Denver head coach, played at Wake as well, coached at Wake. As we get underway in this one, always a bit of a family feel. I guess Michael Hood wasn't available, so we got Patty from Virginia just to swap it up. No, we can't have it be all Wake Forest stories all night. We got to make sure we get that Virginia score bug drop. But we're underway in the second half. Pitt in white, Denver in red, trying to break this drought. Denver with more lineup changes. We've seen this a couple times from them. And we'll get to that in a second as Pitt attacks. And the foul's whistled against the Panthers on the freshman Carter. And it'll be a free kick for Denver. But Denver will bring in Ian Welch up top. Kai Carlson at the back. David Biggers in as well. So a few different spots. Denver will switch it up at the half. Again, no re-entry within a half in the men's game. So once you're subbed out of this second half, you're out for the game. And both coaches will manage accordingly. For Pitt, Miguel Bertrand replaces Santiago Ferreira at halftime. And Logan Oliver, who started the game, comes back to start the second half as well. So this is Kai Carlson. We told you he's in at right back, and he has a long throw in as well. Freshman from Eugene, Oregon, and former Timbers Academy captain. Got great distance on that. The second ball cleared by Pitt. Yes, this is Carlson taking a throw in from the left sideline and now taking it from the right. This is more in his position. Again, he's in at right back, replacing Will King. Denver wanted a foul called there. None came, and Willoughby dribbled out of bounds. Some heavy challenges there, and this will be another Denver throw. But energetic start to the second half for both teams. Logan Oliver back in the game, bringing some of that intensity to the midfield that Pitt wants to see. This is Svenby overlapping. Villamajana, now Oliver, Jackson Gilman. Out wide, Lasadal going to work over there. Played on the right in the first half. He's back to the left side in the second. There's some of that combination half space play Jay Vinovich mentioned to us at halftime. So you see that right away early in the second half. %68 of the possession for Pitt in the first half. They may be up over 70 for the game at this point. And it'll be corner kick number 2 for the Panthers here.
Well, it's promising stuff from Pitt to start this second half. They're getting additional numbers forward, able to stretch the game through Dahl, but also Bertrand up alongside the forwards in Albert Thorson. And then when you can get the ball wide to Lasadal and let him go to work, you get the feeling that these are where the chances and potentially the goal is going to come for the Panthers.
Grayson Carter, freshman from Boise, Idaho, to deliver the corner. Came off of Thorson at the near post. It'll be a goal kick for Denver. Well, I know what you wanted to see, Patty, in terms of more numbers committed forward. What do we expect to see from halftime adjustments in this second half?
Well, I think what you are seeing for Pitt is additional numbers, and the additional number really has come through Miguel Bertrand. He's playing a little bit higher from that number 10 spot, and really looks like he's alongside Thorson in the build. That allows Villamajana a little bit of extra space in midfield to see if he can be a bit more of a playmaker and start to be dangerous in that final third, something that was really lacking in the first half for that man. For Denver, though, they've put a few more numbers forward to start as well, and then that press, we saw it early on in the first half. We didn't see it a lot late on in the first half, but if they can press Pitt deep, I think that's where they'll create chances in creating turnovers in their attacking half.
You're just joining us. No score, not a lot of scoring chances to speak of on the night. Just 4 shots, 2 for each team. In a game critical for these teams' postseason hopes. Denver 7-6, wants to stay above 500 and get another kind of resume road win after beating Georgetown last week. They are in good stead in the Summit League. Pitt, though, much more dire situation. 2 games under 500 with 3 games left in the regular season and at least 1 in the ACC tournament. Need to get on the winning side of the ledger to qualify for the NCAA tournament. Patty told you Syracuse, Wake Forest, and Louisville, the remaining games for Pitt, so nothing is easy for them. But they do have the ability to turn it around, as we've certainly seen in previous years and earlier this season. Denver will leave this for the goalkeeper, Isaac Nami. A lot of targets for that long one, and it, in the end, ran through everybody. Grant Lund, one of the center backs, was up there.
Well, it's a game that hasn't seen a lot of chances, and so free kick 80 yards from goal, you have Isaac Nami. Why not loop one into the box, see if you can find some of those big boys in Lund and Wright. And the head of Lund not too far from putting that one on frame.
Kind of reminds you of the game-winning goal against Georgetown. When Lund was up there jumping, we thought maybe he got a touch on it. He was initially credited with the goal. Redshirt freshman, they put him on the post-game interview, and he candidly admits, yeah, I didn't touch it. And of course, the goal ended up going to the free kick taker, Schultz. Just a little bit too honest. Schultz had set up the first goal from a corner and then credited with the game winner against Georgetown. Earned it with terrific service that bounced in after nobody was able to make contact with it. I had one years ago, Patty, where a player promised he would tell me if he touched it, but only if I promised that I wouldn't take the goal away from his teammate. And so Brian Ching, wherever you are, honorable guy, said, I'll tell you, but you better not change it. And Brian Ching got the touch, and he did not get credit for the goal once upon a time. '55th minute, and the way it's feeling right now, Pittsburgh would take an own goal that hit both posts and gladly take it to the bank if they could get one. Winless in their last three. That goes back to their last goal early in the 1-1 tie with NC State, which was then #1 in the country. And of course is still among the contenders in the ACC. You talk about hard to score on, NC State is that.
Well, and that goal against NC State that Pitt gave up, Route 1 football straight down to Donovan Phillip, and they'll feel a little bit hard done that they didn't get 3 points in that match. But now we're going on 315 minutes without a Pitt goal, which is almost absurd to think about. You think about the quality and the individual talent that this team has, and yet they're just not finding chances.
I mean, Patty, I don't want to ask if your Virginia teams ever went 300 minutes without scoring, but what does it feel like as a player when, as a group, your team just can't buy one?
Well, it's certainly frustrating. I'll tell you that, and my teams probably did go that long without finding a goal, but you feel like it's never going to come. That being said, and you get the sense here with this Pitt team, if they can put the ball in the back of the net, you feel like it's just going to be a flurry of goals because they do have that quality.
That falls to Villamajana as we see that Virginia has scored today, Patty's alma mater, against UNCG in a top 25 battle. Virginia will play Denver, host Denver this weekend at Klockner. Denver, by the way, with the time change, will fly back in the morning and still make it to class in the afternoon. So they'll get to their Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday classes. Pitt setting up camp in the Denver half once again. Good switch here for Dahl. Lasadal gets to that right foot, lets it go, and sends it up toward the trees. I feel like last year, Patty, we saw him curl that one into the corner.
Well, but I love what you're seeing from Lasadal to start this half. We saw him on the right-hand side in the first 45. Jay Vinovich now has flipped him to the left, and I like this on the left. He gets in space, he can build up some speed, and then go to that favored right foot to have some sort of individualistic effort. And this is the kind of effort and action that we didn't see in the first 45. I mean, he knows what he wants to do. He goes at it, and he finds a chance. Yeah, he can't put it on frame, but you get the sense that the goal is coming for Pitt.
He does feel much more goal dangerous when he's on the left. And if anything, there's anything Pitt needs, right, it's more goal dangerous options. So you get Bertrand in the middle, you flip Dahl to the left, and maybe there's more options there. Tremendous touch on that from Lund, but the recipient, Collins, was offside, so it'll be a Pitt free kick. Eric Collins, speaking of touches, McGowan basically took the ball off Collins' foot for the second goal against Delaware last weekend. Collins was making a cut, chopped the ball back on his defender, and McGowan, his teammate running up from behind, took it as a pass and scored. And everyone in the world watching it could tell live that Collins was upset that the ball had been taken off his foot until, of course, it went in. But supposedly he was telling Close Confidence after the game, "Oh yeah, I knew he was coming. I meant that as a pass." And the Denver locker room was not going to let him hear the end of it. Here is Dahl again. You know he wants to get to the right foot, goes left this time, and can't keep it on the field of play. And you can hear that's the Denver bench encouraging, saying, yes, you got him to his left foot, and you saw the result.
That's why he wants to go back to his right. Certainly doesn't have the same quality in going left, but I do like the idea, again, from Lasse Dahl in being decisive in the final third. And when he gets on the ball, he's not hesitating. He's running at that Denver back line and trying to create through the ball at his feet.
You see Pitt attacking numbers up the middle. Some space for Bertrand. Penalty spot. Dahl got a touch to it. And in the end, it fell to Villamajana, who couldn't put it near the target. Now, women's sports take over the afternoon every Sunday right here on ACC Network. This week, we start at noon Eastern in women's soccer. Number 2 Stanford taking on Miami. Following that, on the volleyball court, Syracuse taking on North Carolina. Great afternoon of women's sports here on ACC Network this Sunday. Stanford flying high, men's and women's soccer right now, but just as on the men's side, so much competition on the women's, and they only get 6 teams into the ACC women's tournament rather than everybody. So you probably will have top 25 teams left out of that tournament. Pitt on the move. Early ball, and the goalkeeper Nami able to get to it before Torsen, who held up a thumb to encourage Svenby for the delivery.
Oh, but again, this is where Pitt has been dangerous. Now getting additional numbers in the build in wide areas and starting to get quality service into the box. You're getting the sense that there's a couple different ways Pitt can beat you, and where we didn't see in the first half, we are seeing in the opening 15 minutes here in the second half. Some decisiveness in the final third and asking some questions of that Denver back line.
'62nd minute, no score. Pitt controlling possession throughout the game, but limited in terms of chances. Shots were 2-2 at the half. Pitt has the only 2 shots of this second half. And one of the things, Patty, Jay Vidovich said, the Pitt coach at halftime, we want to find some combination play. We want to get into the half spaces. Can you give us the layman's definition of the half space and what he's talking about?
The half space are these pockets right there. They're in between the 2 lines of defense, and if you can get players of quality like Grayson Carter in that instance in between lines of Denver, and on the turn you can start to pull red shirts out of position and find chances through possession.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Patty.
That's why you asked me to do it.
Exactly. Gavin Wetzel trying to break lines. Wins it back, but stripped. That was Ian Welch just into the game in the second half for Denver. He's got the big knee brace. Now David Biggers with the switch, and it's on for Willoughby. Pioneers dangerous here. Bryce Willoughby can't turn it on net. His touch made him slide, and he sent that one wide.
Well, and for as much time as we've spent talking about Pitt in possession and what they're capable of doing, this is what Denver's good at. They're good at hitting you on the break. This is a really quick outlet pass to find Willoughby. And if you're Bryce Willoughby and you get one-on-one in an isolated area, you have to be a lot more decisive. This touch has to go towards goal, and you have to at least test Jack Moxham in between the pipes for Pitt.
He went to his left foot against Delaware and smashed one against the crossbar in a similar play, and I thought that's where he was going. Instead went back outside and never got around it. Just one save in the game. That made by Moxham. Nami is out of goal at the moment. Pitt in possession in the attacking third once again. Here's Dahl. Dangerous ball through the 6. You could see Nami on his heels having to be reactive, but nobody from Pitt could get to it.
Well, if we've said it once, we've said it 5 times here in that second half. But yet again, Lassadal in a dangerous spot on the left-hand side. This time, though, he elects with that weaker left foot to put a ball across the 6-yard box, and it is a tantalizing ball. Thorson can't quite get there, and in the end, Svenby skies it, but that's a really dangerous pass across the box from the Danish left midfielder.
Yeah, we say weaker foot. We joke about him not wanting to go left. It's not a bad weapon. It's just not as consistent as the right. And Denver going to make changes here. You wonder if they'll address that side of the field because Dahl has had so much rain over there. This is Keegan Kelly returning up top. So a short run for Welch here. And Jamie Smith returning to the game in the middle as well.
For number 11, Ian Welch. Number 18, Keegan Kelly. For number 7, David Biggers.
I always feel for the guys who get 20 minutes at the beginning of the second half, and it's like, yeah, your day's done. And I mean, it's got to happen, but it's part of the changed substitution rules, second year in the men's game where there's no re-entry in either half.
Well, I think you're seeing a lot more of that, especially at the center forward spot, is to start a reserve in the second half and allow your starting number 9 just to get an extra breather and then insert them for the final 25, 30 minutes of the game. You bring up an interesting point, though, about the right back situation here for Denver. We've seen Kai Carlson here to start the second half, and this is a tough game to be inserted, and it's a guy who has a lot of experience at the youth level with the Portland Timbers, but I'm a little bit surprised that Jamie Franks hasn't gone back to Will King, who has really been a mainstay across the back line all fall.
It's not like he's been bad defending. He's just giving him a lot of room out there. And then you're kind of, you know, as you said, Dahl's being decisive, and so you're reacting to what he's doing. That's a dangerous one, looking for Svenby, and Isaac Nami aggressive off his line to capitalize on the loose touch.
Well, Svenby is another player that we've seen in a lot more attacking spots here in the second half. It's Route 1 football from Nicholas Sorensen. That's a fantastic ball and really a decent first touch from Casper Svenby. Just can't quite get it into an area where he can put a chance on frame. But Pitt is showing a lot of different ways that they can beat you here in the second half. They've gone wide. Now they've gone Route 1, and you get the sense that a goal is coming.
Here is Lassadal. Back to Arnau Villamajana. Pushing for no reason between Svenby and Kelly in the middle of your screen. kind of distracted everybody from the play, but Lund just turns it right back to Pitt here. And the Panthers unable to capitalize. And Svenby down, and this is something Pitt's seen all too much of this year. Injuries affecting guys who would normally be in the lineup, and Svenby's one of those who's been in and out. Had maybe his best game of the season against Stanford, according to Jay Vidovich, and we've seen him be dangerous in this one, and so frustrating to see him down.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a late challenge through the left foot of Svenby there from Eric Collins. You see him try to cut back, and then just the follow through there catches him right on that knee.
So a concern here for Pitt, for their teammate Svenby, who's missed so much time. And also, Patty, for a bit of their momentum. This has been one of the strongest stretches of the game for Pitt. And now you have a break, and Denver has a break to try and reorganize and make adjustments. You know the whiteboard is out during this period for Jamie Franks.
Yeah, you see Svenby limping off there. Just the accolades that he's had throughout his career at Pitt, and really before that at Dayton. But first team All-American, a Herman Trophy semifinalist, the Defensive Player of the Year in the conference, and of course first team All-ACC. 2025 has not been 2024 for Casper Svenby, in a large part due to those injuries. So you just hope for the right back of Jay Vidovich that he can limp this one off and get back out there.
They're making the decision right away that Josh Harden will check in for him. So bad news for this game for Pitt. Harden has had 7 starts this year, redshirt sophomore, who began in the Sounders Academy but finished in the Colorado Rapids Academy. So may have some familiarity with guys wearing red tonight. Teams discussing just who's going to get the ball after this. And everybody applauding as Pitt lets Denver restart with it. 69th minute, no score. Casper Svenby now off for Pitt. Another worrisome sign in a frustrating season at the moment. 1 win in their last 7 for the Panthers, who again have made the NCAAs the last 6 years. And often been a high seed in the NCAA tournament. Of course, College Cup in 2022 when they were not seeded. Kelly with a change of pace, drove it low, really dangerous ball. And Nicholas Sorensen at the back did really well for Pitt to clear that away. Been that kind of game. Not a lot of clear-cut opportunities. Pitt has had the lion's share of the ball, but has rarely been able to turn that possession into an outright chance. There's a late challenge. It'll be a free kick for Denver. That was Carlson getting to it for the Pioneers. And again, even 45 yards from goal, Patty, it's like this is a scoring opportunity.
Well, I think they will put this one in the box. You see, it's just late there from Miguel Bertrand in the end. But I think you're right. I think Denver has every intention through Aiden Semmelsberger putting this ball in the box, see if they can manufacture a goal.
Left side! Go on, Nick, go on! Right defend, fellas. Go foul! Well done, Lou!
Harden just into the game at right back to replace Svenby.
No foul! No foul!
Saw his pass picked off by Eric Collins. Couldn't dribble through two. And it'll be a Pitt throw. How do you approach this if you're Pitt, Patty? I mean, do you throw numbers forward like you really have to score and win this?
Yeah, you do. I really do think so. I think a tie doesn't really do much for the resume of Pitt, and they really need 3 points. I would also say for the first 15, 20 minutes of this second half, Pitt brought a lot of energy, and they were asking questions of Denver. And since Svenby went down 5-7 minutes ago, the pace of the game has dropped a little bit. So if you're Jay Vidovic, can you raise the energy of the squad for the last 18 minutes of this game, start to go at Denver and just try to find that goal that has evaded them for 300+ minutes?
There's Dahl. He's been one of the brightest options for Pitt. Second year with the Panthers, 2 goals, 6 assists a year ago. Jackson Gilman trying to play it forward, broken up by Smith. And they were trying to feed Willoughby and hit the back of Gilman's head. He'll tell you he's got eyes back there and wins it for Pitt. Long diagonal. Larson able to head it back to Nami. Villamajana with some space. This is Torsen letting it go over the top. The goal seems like it's coming for Pitt, but will it come in time to win this one?
Well, this is one of the best builds of the night from Pitt. They work it through those half spaces that we've mentioned in the past, but get into midfield. It's good from Villamajana to play an early ball out wide, finding the feet of Albert Thorson, and that ball is rising the whole way, but it does not miss the crossbar by much. The best chance of the night by far for this Pitt Panthers team.
The one shot for Denver this half, just one shot in the last almost 50 minutes for the Pioneers. Now the big switch. Again, they want to go to Dahl. Lasse Dahl, does he go to goal this time? Bertrand, backward for Gilman. Villamajana got that pass away. Harden's cross is blocked out for a Pitt corner. Watch for Villamajana on this one.
Well, and as you look at Denver and how deep they are, 10 players almost inside their own 18-yard box, not allowing Pitt to play through possession. You have to focus on these set pieces because Pitt is capable of scoring on the corner through that man who has 4 of them on corner kicks alone. So look at this one into the box.
Flag went up. The flag went up that ball went out of bounds before it came back to the group of players in the 6-yard box. So it'll be a goal kick for Denver.
This is the issue with that outswing, as you see that one clearly go out of play and then back in. You would love to see a left-footed player on that ball and whip one right into the 6-yard box to try to create a chance.
'76th minute. Does Pitt have the urgency to create the chances? Does it have the precision to take them? Update around the top 25. UNCG has tied that one up. Some unusual names in the top 5 at least, Patty. Bryant up to number 2, West Virginia 3, Portland 4, Princeton number 5 in the latest coaches poll that came out today. ACC, of course, well represented, and we know, Patty, that the NCAA tournament seedings will probably more closely reflect the RPI than the coaches poll.
Well, the RPI certainly is more heavily weighted, and as you see, a good ball looking for in behind here. But the ACC, 4 teams in the top 10 in the coaches poll, you have to think that they will at least get 4 in those top 16 seeds of the NCAA tournament. But there's still a lot to play for here in the last 2 or 3 games in the ACC, depending on the squad. But you look across the RPI, Virginia, of course, having a good year. Stanford at number 1 in the country in the coaches poll. NC State, though, they are a tough team to play against, a tough team to score on, and they have the nation's leading goal scorer in Donovan Phillip. Look for them to make a long road in the NCAA tournament. So, yet again, so much depth in the ACC here in 25.
Here's Marco Silva, transferred from Marshall, replacing Bertrand as Pitt looks for any and all offensive weaponry to throw forward here. And I'm totally with you. I like very hard to beat defenses and electric forwards as a combination come November and December. So we'll see if it turns out that way for NC State, but the pieces are there. '78th minute as Pitt looks to find a way through. Harden getting forward again, gets the cross in, dangerous. Great header clear by Lund for Denver. Pitt still attacking all kinds of space over here for Dahl. Wetzel's shot blocked by a sliding Collins as Denver throws bodies around. And this may be what the last 12 minutes consist of, is Pitt pouring numbers forward, looking for that goal.
Well, I think you're right. It likely will, and the white shirts will continue to go forward. But it's sort of an interesting thought experiment, because a tie's not going to do much for Denver either. I mean, this Pitt team is better than their 70th RPI, but you're not going to get a lot for a tie against the 70th team in the RPIs. You see another good clearance up in your top right from Lund.
Lund had just a ridiculous clearance against Delaware where he was running full speed facing his own goal. The ball was behind his goalkeeper and he was able to flick it backward, up and out to save a goal. So he's turning in that kind of play on the regular, the redshirt freshman. Denver just having trouble finding the ball right now, though. '80th minute. Pitt has started to up the pressure. Still have not forced a save, though, from Isaac Nami in the game. There you see the increase in tempo. Just one shot against Pitt as well in this second half. Can they play the whole game with that kind of urgency, though, Patty?
Well, you would have liked to think so, but I mean, if you're going to play a team that's dropping 11 guys in their defensive third, you're going to have trouble finding chances regardless of who they are.
No, breaking anybody down is not easy, and Denver especially is known to play effectively behind the ball. Great diagonal, and Torsten almost got on the end of it. That could have been the moment for Pitt. And so far, that's the story of the season. Close, but no payoff.
Well, it's a good ball here with the outside of the right foot from Grayson Carter. And as you know, that really is the story of the season. It's just inches from the head of Albert Thorson to put the Pitt Panthers up 1-0, and yet he can't quite get there to knot it on frame. But again, a good stretch from Pitt, really good patience in possession, and ultimately that's a fantastic ball across that it almost finds the opening goal.
Now you saw Nami go down a couple steps after the play. He was red carded against UMass, and so they had to turn to Gabe Schwartz, who had not played in his 5 years on the Denver roster, to finish the UMass game and then to play against Georgetown. Got the win against Georgetown, but of course Nami was back in there when available for Denver, which has to deal with another 10 minutes here.
Well, and as you know, Gabe Schwartz has been very capable as a backup, but Isaac Nami is one of the top goalkeepers in the country. I mean, you're talking about a 4-year starter, a guy who's been twice goalkeeper of the year in the Summit League. That's certainly a concerning side for Jamie Franks. He's the all-time leader in shutouts at Denver.
Chasing Joe Willis in saves, and as a goalkeeper on a very successful team, you often do not totally top the charts in saves because you don't see quite as many efforts, although we told you Denver's defense has not been as solid this year. He's still trying to stretch it out, but appears good to go. Both coaches are content to have the time to talk to their teams. He says he's good, and so Nick Balser, the referee, whistles them both back out there.
Well, it's a fortuitous timing there for Denver, because it was a time in the match in which Pitt has been building and finding rhythm, and now able to take a bit of a timeout through the injury to Isaac Nami. So definitely good timing there for the Pioneers.
I think that was a little veteran savvy, perhaps. Well, timeout or no timeout, we have 9:53 to go. Pitt has as many shots in the last 8 minutes as it had in the first 72. And Denver will make that change at right back with Will King coming back on, replacing Kai Carlson. McGowan also returns for the Pios. Coming down the home stretch here, Pitt looking for a win that could turn the corner on its season. Need to get a goal when they haven't had a single shot on goal in the game. And space here for Schultz if he can track it down. Sorensen with a pretty clear extension of the arm and push. Why? It gives Denver a gift free kick here.
Well, and credit to Luke Schultz in tracking that ball down and doing just enough to win the corner kick, it looks like, in playing that one off. As you see, it's a bump in the end from Nicholas Sorensen, but he plays it off that left foot, and yep, correct decision.
I would have given the foul because it was pretty obvious. First corner of the game for Denver. This is how they beat Georgetown.
No foul here, no foul here.
Kelly was the target that time and could not put it on target. Talk about the gut punch it would be for either team to concede in these last 8 minutes.
Well, both have really done a good job at what they've tried to do all night, and Jamie Franks and Denver being very organized and making it tough for Pitt to break them down through possession. On the other side, Pitt has been very good in possession. They just haven't had the quality in the attacking third. But again, I would say both of these teams, a tie is not going to do much for you, and so you'd like to think in the final 7.5 here that really both teams will start to commit numbers forward and see if they can find a goal.
Denver wins the ball in the attacking third. Doesn't quite have the numbers to turn it into an instant opportunity. Instead, they go forward with Dylan Akau. Skips past one, dangerous diagonal, headed clear by Wetzel at the back for Pitt.
Well,
Lund is running up.
They'll wait for Keegan Kelly to come over and toss a long one in here. But it's too lackadaisical in the back from Nicholas Sorensen. I mean, the one way that Denver's going to beat you, it seems like, is through a mistake across that back line. And certainly the sophomore just a little bit too lax with the ball.
The voice you hear is Moxham, the Pittsburgh goalkeeper. Keegan Kelly into the challenge with Josh Harden, and it's a Pitt throw. And those voices you hear come from the Denver bench. Denver sends its center backs up for the long throw here, 85th minute, trying to steal one. McGowan can't really get the shot away, but keeps it moving. Driven low, Moxham got hands to it, and it's cleared for the moment. Denver calling for a handball in the area.
Well, it's just manufacturing chances here in the dying moments for Denver. The long throw bouncing around ultimately finds the feet on the left-hand side of Keegan Kelly. This is a really good decision to pound that ball across the 6-yard box. Moxham does well to push it wide, but this might be going for a look here. Is that a handball in the box? Potentially.
I kind of hope not, right? You don't want to determine a game on that little touch that didn't seem to affect a scoring chance, but the rules are the rules, and Nick Balser will take a look at the replay to assess that.
And certainly that would be a harsh penalty if given. Josh Harden, the left arm is extended, but it looks like it just hits him in the shoulder. And I agree with you, Jonathan. For what this game has been, it'll be a tough break for Pitt.
Yeah, you could see the indication the contact was on the chest. And in real time, you certainly understood Denver appealing for it because it looked with the arm outstretched as if it was possibly handled, but Harden got it off the chest. We got 4:55 to play. Denver now still seems on the front foot. Keegan Kelly to deliver the throw once again. Kelly, of course, would normally be one of the aerial targets. He plays this one back in, and it's sent well over by Schultz. Under 5 minutes remaining, Pitt continues its struggles Last time with no shots on goal, October 2018. Wow. That was during the building stage of Jay Vidovich taking over at Pitt.
Well, it's hard to believe because they only had one shot at goal against Stanford in the last match, and so you combine those, and it's a bit of a wild statistic. And really, for how good Pitt has been, you would think they would have a chance on frame, but that's what's been lacking. They've been good in the build, they've been good in the middle third. They just haven't found that quality chance to test Isaac Nami in goal for Denver.
Substitution for Pitt.
And so often that's what it comes down to, right, is box play. And you look around the conference, all of a sudden Virginia Tech has Dagger Traustason who's scoring goals, and all of a sudden they're getting wins and they're rocketing up the scoreboard, and Syracuse gets hot. And Pitt hasn't found that goal scorer this season. Free kick for Pitt here after Anders Bordoy is on in place of Marco Silva as Pitt searches for anyone who can put the ball in the net right now, or set up a teammate for a chance so foolproof that it has to go in. 87th minute. Logan Oliver seeking a pass. Cut back from Carter, keeps it moving. Cleared away by Denver toward midfield. Keegan Kelly racing for it, knocked down by Wetzel. Yellow card coming.
But I'm not sure this is a necessary yellow card to take if you're Gavin Wetzel, because Nicholas Sorensen is there to make the challenge, and certainly it's just a bump on Keegan Kelly and a good decision from Nick Balser. But in a game that hasn't seen a lot of chances, now you're going to have another dangerous set piece from a team in Denver who beat Georgetown on a set piece on a free kick from almost this exact position. So look for some quality into the box.
Schultz provided the delivery a week ago. He's lining this one up as well. Nobody able to get on the end of this one. If you're a Pitt fan, I can promise you the college football replay that is coming up after this has a happy ending. We don't know how this game ends, but I can tell you that the football game that's coming up ends well. Just keep that in mind. 2 minutes here as Pitt men's soccer looks for its own happy ending tonight. Grayson Carter has so many tricks, gets out of one pocket, slips it into the box, left by Dahl. Possession maintained by Pitt. Bordoy's shot blocked by a teammate. Trevor Wright with the headed clearance for Denver.
One minute remaining in the second half. 1 minute.
Final minute at Ambrose Urbanic Field. Time running out on this one, and the season of frustration for Pitt continues.
Well, I give Denver a lot of credit for what they did. They came in, they were organized, they had a game plan, and they frustrated Pitt for 90 minutes. Pitt was the better team in possession. They looked the better part with the ball at their feet. Jay Vidovich, of course.